Morning, everybody. Morning, how are you? Good morning, Klaus, how are you? Hopefully the signal's okay down here in my basement studio. Good. I just got back from a trip in Texas, TMEA, Texas Music Educators Conference. It's very fun. Let me see if that's better. And just taking a day off from the shop, although I'll be back first thing in the morning. My dogs are downstairs because we're having some wallpapering done, so you might be able to hear them here. But I thought I'd do what I do for a warm-up via live here on YouTube. So, but you guys have particular questions, let me know. Hey Armando, thanks for your great support at TMA, brother. So today is Monday. Monday I do stamp. I try to alternate my warm-ups from day to day, so I'm not always doing the exact same thing. Hold on, I'm going to change this again. See if that's a little bit better. That should be better. That's better. Fooling around with lighting. So today is a stamp day, so I do stamp warm-ups. Hope you guys do stamp. It's super great. So I was just on B flat. If you have questions about what I do with my warm-up, put them here. It depends on the day. Today I'll just do the warm-ups. Good morning, everybody. I'll do the warm-ups to pedal C, and then I'll start expanding them up, and then I'll go into my other two key components when I do my actual warm-up. I'm going to move this light again. Sorry, everybody. I'm experimenting with new lights here in the downstairs studio. So that's, it's very organic, my warm-up, in terms of what I do, in terms of how I feel. Yeah, man, I appreciate the support. It's very organic in terms of the whole process, how this feels, how my lips feel. Do I do mouthpiece buzzing? Do I do lip buzzing? Literally, I'm just picking up the horn and playing a few notes right now. So, I think I was on A. I try to be very organic with the whole process, especially if I feel like I'm tight, which I played in a practice meet for 4 days being at a trade show, so I feel super tight in the embouchure, so I'm trying to just loosen things up. That was why I did the low bend on that particular one. Again, post your questions here. Great, that was a great question. What physical sensations do you look for? One, I'm looking for a very easy, free buzz. And it could be buzz in terms of this. It could be a buzz in terms of this. And it could be a buzz in terms of the instrument just doing the work. So, just trying to get things loose and trying to get them to feel flexible. I should say I normally have my tuner on, but I'm using my phone as this device to stream this. So if I didn't have my phone on, I of course would be using the TE tuner, which I love. It's such a great app to really focus in on playing as in tune as possible. That one I want to just try to adjust as little as possible, but still getting the free blowing. I feel like even now, and it's only been 5 minutes into the warm-up with talking and saying hello to people, that I'm ready to go. So I feel like I'm actually ready. So I do want to preface by saying a lot of people think warm-up is an hour long, or it's 2 hours long, or 3 hours long. That's not really the case. Warm-up is just physically stretching to get ready for the task at hand. So confusing warm-up and routine, that can get a little hazy on that. So where we are, we're at E. Again, if you have questions about this particular warm-up or things that I'm doing, please post them here. The questions are disappearing fairly quickly on my phone, so if I missed it, just repost it. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is just a basic talking about what I do day to day for my warm-up and my routine. Right now we're in the midst of stamp. I always recommend people resting as much as they play. In this case, when I've had a hard week of work and not necessarily trumpet work, I take extra time in between, because I don't want to feel like I'm forced. Håkan said, play the trumpet like it's at your cheek, nice and relaxed. I want to feel the same. Again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your great support of ACB. I'm in my downstairs practice studio at my home. Not getting into the shop today, but I'll be in first thing in the morning to catch up on all the crazy orders. Thank you very much. Let me see if I can bring those comments. If I feel right, I do the Chickwitz flow studies and incorporate pitch bending. Yeah, I do Chickwitz on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I alternate those. So today's a stamp day because it's Monday, but tomorrow's Chickwitz. And some people are not into that. Some days I don't even warm up. Sometimes I go. So where were we? C sharp. For me, it's all about the feeling of relaxation while playing. Be it playing or playing. It's all the feeling of relaxation. There's no stress when I play that A. It's there, and it's because the same process of playing for me is applying. I don't know if that makes sense. I can elaborate a little bit more on that, but one of the mini lesson videos that we did here, the stamp actually does that, Anderson. You're talking about pedal tones into upper register. Maggio and stamp are all into that. So take, for instance, what I just did on D. And I'm just sort of improvising up there. And if it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, I'm not forcing it. Both ways, upper or lower. Hope that makes sense. It's all about just being free and easy, just really loose in my case. Loose in terms of just the relaxation, tight in terms of the distance between notes. So. So like there, I'm just making it happen if I have to, but not forcing it out. I'm not pushing it out. Just sort of taking a stock of what's going on. Is it feeling okay? Is it pushed or whatever? If you're just tuning in, this is a sort of a live warm-up from my basement studio here at the home. And just wanted to say thanks everybody who came to the TMEA for your great support of the show. It was ridiculously busy. I'm still recovering with my voice, but so happy for everybody coming and hanging out. And we have lots of new members of our Adams family. Yay. Again, it's just loose, relaxed. Once I get done the stamp to low C, some days I'll take it up like I just did a few minutes ago, but most days I start on Clarke and do Clarke 1 through 5. I won't do that because it's kind of in terms of the Clarke 1, but I won't do the whole thing, but I do every key. Not just like that, I was sort of shortening it, but I try to do every key, working on my fingers. 4 days of this and not being consistent in everyday practicing, you lose your fingers. The chops feel fine actually, but the fingers aren't so good. But I'll do that, and if you have to abbreviate it, you can work on things like I do those in diminished arpeggios. So I start with, of course it's a chromatic scale, so it's only one scale, but I'll start on F sharp, then I'll start on A, then I'll start on C, then I'll start E flat, that way. And then the next day, maybe this, doing up that arpeggio, which is G, B flat, D flat, E. But most days I can do the whole thing. It doesn't take too long, and I do them probably between 12 and 20 times in one breath. So what do you think about mouthpiece? It really depends on what you're looking for. If your mouthpiece buzz is easy and free, then yeah, of course. I might do some basic sirens on that. So for instance, something like this. Very easy, relaxed. I actually buzz with my left hand. It's weird to buzz on the right hand. And then my trumpet stands are over by my actual practice area. But the big key is to have it just relaxed. The mini lesson video this morning was all about being, consistent in your buzz. Oh, actually, I don't need to pull this out. Sorry, brain freeze. But what I'm talking about there is so if I can buzz that and I'm whacking my chop so it's knocking the horn off of kilter, the buzz will amplify into the trumpet. But still about easy. All about easy. If you have to force something, if you have to really force it to get it out, like some days, if when you play like a 6-hour, 8-hour gig and you get the next morning and you start on a note and it's like, blah, that means you worked your chops to exhaustion maybe the night before. I would really start smartly and play stuff that's just superb in terms of the relaxation. Very low chromatics, very soft notes, pedal tones, things like this to just get yourself fully stretched back into the effect. Don't pick up your horn and start playing, Shorty Rogers, Maynard Ferguson. If you do that, that's cool, but, you're doing a different thing. You're trying to always, for me, I'm trying to always play in a bass of relaxation. So if you turn the volume off of this video, you wouldn't know if I'm playing a low G or a G above high C. Anyway, so we're back on some Clarke 1. I'll do a couple more. All I'm working on again is that, and I like being organic with the routine. If I feel like I need to play a scale, or if I feel I need to incorporate a bend, or if I feel I need to sit on a note or slow things down or speed them up, I want to do that because I mean, a lot of people play Clarke 1 very sloppily. They're like, oh, I just play Clarke. It defeats the purpose. You're talking about using your air and sort of just gliding over the partials of the instrument, you know? You want it to feel like connective tissue, not just like, whoa. And I think a lot of people play Clarke that way. Slow it down. You don't have to go fast just yet. So after that is Clarke 2. And you get to see my Achilles heel is starting a phrase on a low note. If you have comments, post them here. See if I missed any comments here. Okay. I think I'm good. Hold on. Somebody asked, oh, Andrew, what different cornet mouthpiece long shake? What's different? That's a question you can email us at mpcSales@austinCustomBrass.com. We're happy to talk that. I would recommend most people, unless you're playing real traditional British cornet, to start with the long shank of our cornet line. So again, I'm giving myself rest. I'm not being too fast, going from key to key. If you have comments about the warm-up, things like that, post them here. I know it's not the most exciting thing, but sometimes it's nice to see someone else warm up and go from there. So equal rest or double the rest. Don't be in a hurry to get through your warm-up because you want to get to the good stuff. Well, if you flub your fundamentals, the good stuff won't happen. Let's skip a few. Like right there, I felt some tension in between the G and the A. I felt a lot of tension in the horn, in the sound, and we're going to work through it. I'm not going to go through it. So now when I play it again, hopefully the tension will be gone, or at least less. And that's stamp, G to A, because you're adding tubing but going up. So you're working on trying to connect that. Still 4 days off. Warm down as well? Not really. If you play right, I feel like you don't have to warm down. If I've had like a real intense gig, I might do some pedal arpeggios. So say I've had like a 6 to 8 hour, 10-hour gig or something like that, like really playing. I'll do some. Things like that. So what about lip? Okay, well, all right, hold on, Marcus. What about lip flexibilities, and what is the real gain? I don't really follow your question. Being flexible with your slurs, and we haven't gotten there yet, that helps everything in the process of playing. So you're trying to make the whole technical part of the instrument, you eliminate it. So when you play music, you don't think about this thing. You're not thinking about, oh, I have to do this with my lips or this is my embouchure. Oh, that's an interesting question. I heard sometimes you warm up practice with a cup mute. Some days I'll add resistance. And by adding resistance, there's a video, I think, on one of our mini lesson series about adding resistance to your playing to help slots. But not always with a warm up. Last week I played all week in a practice mute because I was in the hotel. So things like that. Yeah, you want to be flexible enough so when you put a mute in like that, it's not disrupting your general, feeling of just free flowing. Again, it's just this, getting this going. Yes, I love the questions. Please doing the questions. When do you go to your high notes? After how many minutes? If you just tuned in, I actually talked about this. I feel after 2 or 3 minutes of doing stamp or chickwits, I alternate those on a daily basis. I can actually go right to it. And some days I pick up my horn and the first note I play is a high note. It might not feel the best, of course, but it's about being balanced and getting into things. So right now, and I'm skipping a bunch of my keys just because you guys don't want to hear me play Clarke 3 or 2 in this case. See, I feel like that stuff is totally fine. This stuff is not fine, and that's the curse of not being in your practice element. At least for me, every day. So. How does it takes a while, Jacob? I figure if I do every key and I'm very patient with it, it's between 30 and 45 minutes. And some people don't have the patience with that, but for me, I didn't do that this whole week. I did maybe 15 minutes. I abbreviated each one of these exercises, and my fingers aren't working right. One of my first teachers said, the first thing that will go when you get older are your fingers, and I laughed at him, but he's totally true. The sensation of the brain to the fingers gets a little slower every day. But someone asked me, do you take, because Clarke 2 ends at C, before the etude. I tend to play these in more registers than what's written, of course, too. So. Things like that, just just sort of tapping it. I'm not forcing that. I'm not going. I'm not doing that. So, older brother, older. I feel a definite decrease in sort of senses from year to year, but older. So hope you're doing well, bro. So after Clarke 2, obviously this is Clarke 3. Again, I'm going to abbreviate this just for our time, but I usually do every key. Anyways, normally I can do the 2 octaves, but I think my cornet piston is heavy. What do you think? I don't know your cornet, sorry. Changing the spring? No, come on. Maybe your horn hasn't been serviced in a while and you need to get it professionally cleaned, because especially if you're using a poor quality valve oil, when valve oil evaporates, the poor qualities of oil like Alcas and things like that will put a coating of paraffin wax on your valves. So over the course of time, it could slow down, but these valves feel pretty heavy. This horn is new, except for someone at the show pushed the bell in, so it damaged my horn a little bit. You can actually see it right there. So I have to take it to the shop tomorrow and get it fixed. But there's some tension on this horn for sure. But yeah, I'm not necessarily sure I'm following you on there. Unless they're not physically moving. Clean it, get it professionally ultrasonically cleaned if possible. If it's an older horn with red rot, do not put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Take it to a tech and get your horn checked out. Maybe you just have old springs too. Anyways, I'll go through those. I love that part of Clarke 3 because you're doing lip slurs. Sorry for my dogs. We have someone wallpapering upstairs, so it's like he wants to be with everybody, either me or them, and he sings along when I play. So I didn't want that to happen during the video. I love that part of Clarke 3 because when you're doing that, you're actually incorporating lip flexibilities as well. So try to make those sound as smooth as possible. So I can't really answer your question without actually seeing that. If you want to schedule a lesson, that's fine. Bulging vein on my inner lower lip. Sounds like you've been using too much pressure, first and foremost. So yeah, you could take some rest off. You could also take lysine, which is an amino acid, which lysine is designed to help in the tissue reformation. You could try that. You could try eliminating any spicy food for a while. Lysine, hold on, I could probably spell it. Let me see. I'm not too familiar with the chat on this. Let's see if I'm not sure I can. So I can't. Lysine. It's an amino acid. You can get it in either pill or liquid format. Go to your teacher and talk to them about what's going on, especially. So again, back to this, what I was talking about with Clarke 3. And again, put your questions. It's cool. I want to be interrupted. I want to be interrupted and help you guys with the questions. That's what all of these live videos, either the mini lessons or these live chats, that's what it's all about. Hopefully you get some decent information from that. But back to Clarke 3. That part of Clarke 3 is fantastic to work on your slurs, like the next key, which is F. I think, E. Like right there, I see it's not really working, you know. How do you develop your airstream? As I think that is how you get the type of speed. I don't really think about airspeed or airstream. I think with this, I think about trying to be as quick on my connections as possible. That's why slow practice on Clarke is really good. Yet most of us never do it, myself included. Do as I say, not as I do. But with that part of it, it's about, trying. Okay. I like Monad instruments. I think they're fantastically well made. I just felt like they weren't as versatile enough for what I was doing, especially at the time I was still playing a lot of orchestra work, and I couldn't bring my Monad into an orchestra, especially with guys playing Bachs or Yamahas. It didn't work. And I like to eat, as you could see, so I needed to have something a little bit more contemporary. This one I wouldn't bring into an orchestra either, but now I don't do that. So I have horns for that if I needed that. But back to the warm-up. And back to Joe's question about airstream. There is something about riding the wave of air and making it not force out, like especially if you were doing Clarke 3, not having to go that, where you're kicking the slurs. And it's funny how the resistance is different from practicing in the practice mute to practicing open. Like I said, for the past week I've been practicing in a practice mute. So there are a few Adams dealers in Canada. You just go to the Adams website, which is Adams. If you just type Adams Music, well, probably will come up as one of the suppliers. You could also email us and reach out. There's a few dealers. I know that Twig Music has them. So yeah, the A2 is the Sterling Bell. Actually, I sold it, but they're building me another one. I had a customer come into the store and they really wanted it. So fantastic. But I'm getting a little off track here, which is quite easy to do, and I haven't finished my cup of coffee, I guess. But back to this Airstream. Joe, I hope you're still here. I hope that makes sense. It's all about trying to make your lip slurs work. Thank you. Making your lip slurs work as smoothly as your valve slurs. So if this is smooth, you want the second part of that to be as smooth as possible. The descending bend exercise for me. If your throat is compressing while you're playing a high note, that means that there's a lack of overall resistance, and you're coughing or pushing to get the note. Try that. There's a mini lesson on adding resistance with mutes to help with your high register. There's also a video that on my channel, it's called Marksmanship. So check that out. Email me, info@austinCustomBrass.com, and I can send you links to that. If you're using this okay, New York Bach 197. You mean the new copy of the old Bach? It's fine, but I think there's other stuff that's as fine as well. I'm not really into the gold and silver look. It's kind of chintzy in my opinion, but that's just me. Where was I? Trying to smooth that out. Sorry, man. You know where you're kicking it, it's not working, but and the other thing, one other thing I wanted to say about that is the descending bends. So if you're doing those really help, I think, smooth out the air because you can incorporate leaps into that. Things like that. And the spit is free. That's the good thing about a tile floor. You don't have to worry about it. No, it's still all about this, keeping it nice and easy. So that's Clarke 3. Clarke 4 I will ignore right now because Clarke 4 that's all fingers for me. But one thing I will stress about the Clarke that I didn't do when I was younger that I'm trying to do now is to really observe the dynamics. I just blew them off in the past, especially like with the one I'm going to do Clarke 5 now for you. That's all. That is an Airstream part, Joe, that you really want to do and utilize it to make it as free-blowing as possible. So, like Clarke 5. That's my Achilles, I told you. Tonguing a low note. So some days I'll just... And I might spend 2-3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes just tonguing a low G, just to make sure that I know where it is and I know the process of it. And I circular breathe there, and I was like, why am I circular breathing now? But that's a brain cramp. But taking those and expanding those, working on the efficiency, and really doing I don't know if you heard that it's a cell phone, so you probably didn't hear that, but taking that and really doing the dynamic contrast. You could tell I've not practiced in a few days. That's another reason why I wanted to do this video, because it's humble pie. But anyways, so I'd probably slow that down. But that was brain. That's brain and that's fingers not on the same page. if you have questions, post them here. I'm just going through what I do in a day for my warm-up. Next, I will take a 5-minute break and then grab Arban. And I go from page, I'm not sure. I think I actually have the Arban stuff that I work at the shop. So how do you memorize all that stuff? You play it every day, which, and I do Arban from page 20 to page 33. It depends on what volume you have, but the exercise that I start on is the 12 key exercise, which is number 46. So something like, so on and so forth. And that one's fun for me because it's all about trying to be precise, and I've already made a mistake, which of course we all make mistakes, but that's the great thing about the Arban book. I've been playing it for how many years, and I still have issues with it. On this one, I might put a break between the two pages or between the two sort of key centers, between flat keys and major keys. So I prefer not to talk shop stuff on this video. It's just about the warm-up. So, and we actually discontinued the 3-valve plus rotor piccolo. Our 4-valve doublers piccolo is so much better, and eventually we'll get them back in stock. So next exercise is 47, which is the major key, sort of bouncing. It's a preface to page 125, in my opinion. I'm tonguing right now, so I'm introducing tonguing. You tongue right now. This is all about clean articulation. Sorry, I missed a couple of comments there. Is trying to develop speed important? It only, the higher, faster, louder crowd would say absolutely, but I think it's important to be as clean as possible. I think it's important to be as precise as possible. I'm not doing live noodles today, so sorry. We're just talking about warm-up and routine today. I think it's more important to be as clean as possible. So if it takes you to be, that's where I would go. I'd rather have a correct repetition done really well, even if it's a little slower, than a sloppy rendition done, you know. The more you practice like sloppy playing, I mean, if you practice it, it's definitely getting into your instrument. So there's a video, Andrew, there's a video on that and on my thoughts on that. So you just have to search some of the mini lessons. So I think the one I'm talking about is to buzz or not to buzz. So check that one out. There's a lot of information on these mini lessons already. And I think I'll redo today's lesson. I did it yesterday at the shop after, you know, sleeping for 2 hours and taking a 6 a.m. flight home. So it wasn't my best work. So we'll redo that one. But again, we're into this part of what's in my routine. And now we're doing things like things like that, and I do that, and I get all the way to the point where I'm doing so like, and it's all about trying to play as precise as possible. I am not an orchestral trumpet player. I am not really much of a classical trumpet player anymore, but for me it's so important to have that fundamental technique. So when I do play what I play, which is mostly improvised music, it flows a little bit easier. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. anyways, but you know, the brain still is not functioning. So after all that stuff done, so I did my stamp or Chickwits, I did my Arban, I did my Clarke 1 through 5, and I did my Arban. That's when I take a fairly long break. That's probably when I go to the shop and do my work for most of the day. Of course, I'm playing because of my job selling instruments. I'm doing a lot of playing in the day, but then I'll get home and I'll do my jazz routine, which the jazz routine we can do another live video about, which is equally probably as intensive, but also as beneficial. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you're all well. Thanks again for everybody who's tuning into all of the sessions. If you guys have a question about something that you might want me to develop on another mini lesson, send me an email, info@austincustombrass.com. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to answering about 1,000 emails and back to some practicing. And I'm getting a phone call right now, too, so hold on. I'm not going to answer it. But anyways, thank you so much for all of your help. And